Can you hear us, Andy?
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, now I can hear you. I couldn't at first.
Well, I'm glad you can hear us now. Let's see. You are also a little echoey. Sam's gonna see if they can work a little magic. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to our little Baltimore Romance Book Club.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be.
We are excited to talk to you about your beautiful story with stars in her eyes. It was, perfect. I mean, a cozy bookstore is the perfect setting for a November book club, so we were super excited to read it.
I'm so glad. Yeah, I love indie bookstores so much.
Could you start by telling us a little about yourself and your journey as a writer?
Recession, and then I went to nursing school. And after that, I was a nurse for a lot of years, and I started writing.
Fall for him, which is a male male romance where one of the protagonists falls through the other one's ceiling and into his bed, as all great love stories start. And then my most recent one was With Stars in Her Eyes, which is this one. And it is an indie bookstore romance. I like to call it my sapphic secret rock star bookstore romance, which is a tongue twister. So, but I'm on my screen. I can only see my face, and I'm gonna try to switch that. Oh wait, now I can see you again.
Sweet.
Let's see. We maybe lost your face, but
Oh no. Let me see.
there you are.
Hooray!
Am I back?
Yes.
Okay.
Could you share a little more about the inspiration for this story, for With Stars in Her Eyes?
Yeah, so when I was writing, during my writing journey, right around when I was first meeting with my editor, I started to have a pretty significant chronic migraine disease, and I love to begin my books with disasters and worst case scenarios. And the way my migraines presented are with stuttering and some other sort of alarming side effects. And so in this book, I really wanted to talk a little bit about that and how it impacts a person's life, and that's what kind of began me on this journey. And the book actually started in a very different place when I first pitched it, and they wanted more bookstore. It was kind of like that SNL cowbell sketch where you've got Will Ferrell and them just saying more bookstore, more bookstore. So I added more and more bookstore, and I'm really, really happy with the way it turned out. I really wanted to highlight all the things I love about tropes and just watching people fall in love in the pages of a book, and that's kind of how the story developed. So the main character, Courtney, she is the one who suffers from migraine, and her love interest, Leah, is a photographer, and she has to kind of deal with how her art impacts um, her life and how she wants to kind of take control about it. Because a lot of, I think a lot of women, when we're artists, we end up trying to do art in a way that doesn't always necessarily satisfy that soul deep part of who we are. So I think I asked you to grapple with that a little bit.
Are you able to share a little more about the inspiration behind our two main characters? They are wonderfully complex women.
Yeah, thank you so much. Courtney, her story was very much influenced by my childhood growing up evangelical, and so and within the Southern Baptist Church, and kind of seeing the way 1990s, early 2000s culture, that like evangelical culture, how that impacted my own life, and some of the things I poke fun at in the book a little
Yeah, I did.
very circular,
Oh,
right?
wait.
The rock star and the star interest.
Yeah.
For the photography, I did so much Googling of like weird, specific astral photography stuff. And I definitely cold DM'd a couple photographers to ask if like the things that I do in the book or the characters do in the book are possible. Because astrophotography, the kind of the thing that Thea's doing in the book is she takes pictures of the star trails, and I was like, okay, well, what if, what if somebody was standing there? It's weird the way you research things for a book because it's kind of different, because I have no intention of ever going out in the cold and photographing the stars in the middle of the night. Like, I don't need to do that. I can do it in my imagination. um
Yeah. That seems good.
so it's kind of different than like when you're googling something so you can do it yourself.
Yeah, I think so. We were also going back to what you had said about the migraines inspiring kind of the story and Courtney's character. We were wondering what kind of accommodations do you wish were more in place? Like Courtney struggled a lot with asking for accommodations and having people not want to give her accommodations. So we're just wondering what you wish was there and more normalized.
I think I wish that it was more normalized to sort of convey the honest experience that you're living through, and not to have every single person around you often discount that experience. So if you're saying like, especially for something like migraine, because migraine is this sort of problem where the kind of accommodations that you might need are highly variable for situations, and because it can be sort of a relapsing and remitting illness, I think people need to get more familiar with what that means, in terms of there being sometimes I can tolerate certain smells, I can tolerate certain types of movement and certain types of noise, and then other times I cannot tolerate it at all. Um, and in understanding that the people who are asked saying they need something in any given moment often really wish they wouldn't have to in that way. Like I think Courtney struggles like a lot of people do. I think particularly women were socialized to be people pleasers. We're socialized to be, I think there's a book called Burnout where it describes us as human givers and to give of ourselves. And I remember one time I was trying to be, I was writing, I think on the Metro with an author friend, like the first time I'd met this person, but I actually had told her about the migraines before that. But I was trying to be the person that was like, not a problem. I don't want to be a problem. I don't have to get off the train early. Like, I'm totally good. And then I ended up like throwing up off the platform and like stuttering massively. And it was like just a complete nightmare. And it could have been avoided had I not just been willing to say, hey, I need to get off this train for like a minute. So I think the big thing, just in general, in terms of accommodations, is making the people who are around you feel comfortable with asking for whatever that is in that moment. Um, I wish that like I had the sort of situation where I could say like, here's my list of things that would make it better, but because my particular issue with the migraines is so different from day to day, and I think that's what makes it so frustrating with certain types of chronic illnesses. It's There's a list of things that could make it better, but you don't always need them, and that can be really confusing. So I think just that we as a population feel more comfortable with asking for things when we need it. That was a long rambling answer. I'm sorry for that.
No, that was great. Thank you for sharing. It was such an integral part of the book. I was really wondering about that. Another part of the book that was pretty like integral was her being a musical rock star. And I know that a lot of authors will have music playing when they're writing kind of music themed works. Did you have a soundtrack? And if not, what would you add as a soundtrack?
I definitely had some music that I listened to a lot. I've become more of that kind of writer who has music on. Before, I was more of like a silence, ambient noise type person. I listened to a lot of Julian Baker, a lot of Phoebe Bridgers, a lot of Boy Genius when I was writing this book. I have several different playlists that I listen to. A lot of the artists had that like evangelical piece, and some of them that like queer. Most of them are pretty gay. Not gonna lie. I love Haley Williams. Haley Williams was another big influence of Paramore. Was another big influence on Courtney's character. And then there's a couple artists that are coming out recently who are incredible cellists. And there's this one particular one that I found on TikTok, and I cannot remember her name for the life of me, but she's like a very sort of angry cellist, and she sings, and it's so great. And I'm like, that's a Courtney vibe. Um, she like sings against fascism with her cello, and I love it. So very Courtney.
I think I've seen the person you're talking about, although I don't know their at either. I've seen one pop up before. So
Yeah, I feel like she's gone more viral. She's like the singing about the Lehigh Valley, because I think she's from Pennsylvania, and it's very visceral.
I don't have TikTok, but I'd like to watch. I don't have TikTok either.
She's on Instagram too, and I will DM you after this and find her stuff so you can listen.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was kind of wondering why cellist, because that's not necessarily the first instrument you think of when you think of rock star. Yeah, it's a cool choice.
I wanted her to be a little different, and I wanted you to see some of the like more different roots of where she kind of came from. There's a stereotype in churches that I went to when I was younger where you know that it's a big service if they like break out a string section. So like you got like a cello player or a violin, and you know that people are going to be like really slamming at that altar call. So I thought the idea of Courtney specifically having grown up in almost like this sort of like grifter role. It's not specified in there, but she was the sort of childhood prodigy that would go with her parents from like these revivals to revivals. And there's something about music. And when I was a kid, I thought it was the Holy Spirit. And now I know it's more just like key changes can do that to anyone. So, but it works. And there's something about a cello. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely get that. My spouse used to be a very talented cellist and gave it up, and I constantly bemoan that they stopped playing the cello because they were so good. It makes me so sad.
That's so sad. I mean,
They're our camera person.
obviously your spouse should do them, like they should live their life, but also
Also, they should,
Play
play
the
back
cello.
the cello.
Yeah. That's what I'm
I also loved that it was a cello. The cello was the first instrument that I picked up.
Oh, nice.
that's so cool. I cannot play an instrument to save my I sing my in the dedication of the book is dedicated to my best friend who's a country singer, and so I grew up singing a ton with her on street corners for frozen yogurt money, and but I cannot play an instrument to save my life, so I am like so impressed always by people who can.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Sweet.
Renee, we should have known. So, one of our book club members, is joining virtually while she's out on her grand van life adventure. But I should know that anyone who's yelling against fascism would be in her must-watch list. So, Renee Christine, it sounds like, is the name of the cellist. So that is helpful.
Oh yay, somebody. Okay, good. I can't always see like all of the extra things. It's zoomed in, so yay! I'm so glad somebody put it in the chat then.
Yeah, thank you. Obviously, a lot of Courtney's background is reflected from your upbringing. Was Courtney's voice sort of the clearest and loudest for you when you were writing, or did that prove more challenging?
No, yeah, it wasn't. That's the interesting thing. Thea's was because my first chapters that I wrote were of the like morning after they do psilocybin. I think that was the first ever chapters that I wrote of the book, which were in Thea's perspective. And I could jump into Thea's voice really easily. Courtney's took a little bit of time. I knew who Courtney's character was a lot more personally, because actually the book that's going to be book 4 I wrote first, and Courtney's in that book, so I knew Courtney better. Like, I'm talking about her like she's a person, because she's a person in my mind. But With Thea, I had to figure her out. Her voice was clear, but I didn't really know what she wanted or who she was. That had to kind of evolve. I felt like I was peeling back the onion, and every different chapter I would write, I would kind of figure out what she wanted. And that took a lot more time, but her voice was easier to write in.
Speaking of the mushrooms, I was just wondering why nobody in Courtney's life, I mean, really, there are multiple characters, but Courtney the most, ever told her that she should consider trying a therapist.
Yeah, people, this happens, I feel like, around is in therapy now in my head. What I have found personally is when you go through a fairly significant physical health crisis, a lot of the people around you who have watched you experience that physical health crisis, the discussion of therapists, that kind of thing will be there, but sometimes they're a lot more worried about your physical health in a way. Though I've seen that in practice where people are a lot more worried about your physical body immediately after. But it just depends and whether or not I like the idea of her. Well, in my head, the idea was that she had already kind of not wanted therapy for a long time because of experiences. This is all headcanon stuff because it's not on the page. A lot of people who come from my background too have had experience with like Christian therapists. And sometimes those therapists' experiences have been very, very negative. And there was a scene that I think got cut where that was discussed. Um, and then she had a good therapist. I can't remember if that's in this book or not, or if it's discussed in the other one, where she did have a therapist that finally asked her if she felt safe, or like, what did Jeremiah do to make her feel safe? And she had had that experience, but previous to that, it was mainly negative experiences with therapists. I actually have another friend, similar situation. So, but yes, I'm a big fan of therapy. I love my therapist. Go therapy. That's great, man.
Yeah, the whole time we were discussing and agreed that it seemed like realistic for Courtney to potentially have qualms with therapy because of her like Christian upbringing. She does have. The only thing I can remember about it from this book is she does have a throwaway line where she's like, "Well, I hate to know what a therapist would say about that." But when she said that, I was like, "But you should find out." Like, can anyone around her please jump in and be like, "You should ask a therapist actually about that."
Well, it's a funny joke though, because I have several writer friends that I read or have read my books where so many of my characters go to therapy. Like Olive, like in my first book, like it's not on screen, but she goes to therapy. And then I have this old like romantic suspense series that is like in a drawer mentally in my head. And all of those characters end up in therapy. I just send everybody to therapy. So it is funny that it's like not on the page in this book.
Yeah, more book characters deserve to go to therapy, so that's
Really?
good that you're
I
giving
agree.
them that chance.
Yes, yes, we love to see it. It's such a underwritten part of any healthy romance story is do the
Yes.
characters go to therapy and figure out their stuff. You had mentioned that scene had been cut. Was there anything else that was cut that you wish hadn't been?
This is one of those books that has been through so many iterations. I think most of the things that I really wanted to be on the page are. I think when I was initially writing their like first kiss moment, I think it was like 5 chapters long. And admittedly, that is too long for a first kiss moment, like the lead up. So I definitely some of that got cut down. And while my heart is sad, it was the best for the book. So it was more just that I lingered on certain moments and then I had to condense less than like whole chapters being cut in this particular book, I think. Um, yeah. Well, and initially they go on, and okay, so this is like also like when I initially conceived of this book, they went on tour together. So like it was a very different book. It was like a rock star bus tour romance, forbidden love romance. So that evolved quite a bit. But I liked that it was in the bookstore. It ended up in the bookstore. It was the right choice.
Nice. Before we hopped on with you, we start with like a little sort of icebreaker question, usually related to the book. So we sort of had two this time. So since it's a romance book club, a lot of romances do very cringy things when they describe sex scenes, and so we talked about how we have sort of like a sexy thesaurus of like words
Yes.
that authors seem to love using, and we were talking about how it was nice that we really couldn't come up with a list for this one. It wasn't, you weren't full of like throbbing members and things.
Honestly, this is like the nicest compliment. Thank you. I'm glad. I mean, I'm sure I did cringe things, like just to be clear. But that's real nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were
Juices.
wondering.
I don't like juices. I hope I don't use juices anywhere.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that's a good one.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
Yes, we're kind of each session asking everybody, okay, what's another word that
That
should
we
be
need
in
to
the
add.
sexy thesaurus?
Yeah, that needs a break from that.
Where people need just a list of other options.
Yeah, we like thinking of the scene from like 10 Things I Hate About You, where they're just, Allison Janney's describing
Quiver.
her, quivering and
Reginald's quivering member.
Yes, exactly. Yep. So it's like
Tumescent, engorged.
Yeah, the cat. That's awesome.
Cat.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Yeah, Juices is a good one. We hadn't
Yeah.
done that one yet. That's a good addition. Yeah.
Just to be clear, I'm very pro squirting, all the different, like that. Like in theory, it's just the word juices.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, these are all about like the words themselves. We're like,
Yeah.
And then the other one was, I personally, as someone who owns a bookstore, loved the different book clubs that they had at Menagerie, and particularly the one that swaps between like horror and romance. And so we were talking about what we would want for our like mashup book clubs. What would you want for your sort of like genre double dip mashup book club?
Yeah, it would definitely be like robots and rogues or renegade. Like, I like a good swashbuckle, but I really like robots. Like Murderbot, obsessed. So like a sci-fi and
I like the title too, Robots and Rogues.
Yeah, that's great.
That's nice.
That's a good one.
It's almost like you're a writer for a living.
Yeah,
that just
it's
came
almost
right
like
off
you're
your brain.
Googling
We spent
like
so
I just
long-
moonlight as one.
All the time.
Yeah, we each came up with our like genres fairly easily, and then we were like, let's think of fun names, and that part didn't really happen. But you just instantly, yeah, that's great.
Wait, what were the most popular ones?
I think there was a lot of like romance and mostly queer romance and yeah, but we definitely had some fantasy, some sci-fi, some gothic horror, yeah, slice of life.
Ooh, yeah.
Stuff.
But we're a
Nice.
romance club, so everybody was like, romance and.
And yeah, it's good.
Romance and yeah. Romance and. That's a great question though. I love a good mashup.
Whoa!
Oh.
All like space opera. I love that.
Ooh, what would you wish? I heard relationships and
Space.
Sorry, ships in space.
Yeah.
For relationships and
oh,
sci-fi.
that's amazing. I love that so much.
That's awesome. Do folks have other
Oh, good.
questions for you? You don't have to, but I'm sorry.
I've still been
I know.
brainstorming.
Yeah, that's
my
great.
book club name. It's not.
We're all
Great,
thinking
yeah.
about
That's
like
perfect.
we're just buffering for a
I've
second.
actually been thinking about it since we asked that question,
Yes.
and it's not coming.
I love
together.
it. No more. It's really good to provide a good conversation piece.
Yeah, I love, sapphic romance and robots, so it's boobs and bots.
Boobs and bots.
Boobs and bots.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Titty bun.
That's perfect. Andy, can I ask what you're most proud of from this book? Besides that it exists in a way that we get to gush about at an indie bookstore, which is certainly no small feat.
Yeah, no, and it really, truly, that means so much to me because indie bookstores have been, excuse me, in general, just so kind to me and so supportive. And I wanted to highlight kind of the vibes that you get when you walk in the door of an indie bookstore. Um, I am very proud of this book because I was writing it during a very difficult time. And a lot of times when I'm writing, the story and everything else flows really well. But this was one of the first books where I had an external force that came in and was like, no, we just like want you to do it. We really love this. But we just want you to change literally almost everything about it. And I was like, great, okay, cool. Great, I can do that. And then I did it, and like now it's a book. I don't know. I'm not really sure how that happened, but I'm proud that I was able to figure out a way to just still, I think, bring the soul into it, even though I had to change it a lot. That was a new thing for me as a author.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you certainly can't tell. Like, there's definitely times where you read a book and you're like, wow, I almost feel like there was like a things.
Or got assembled in committee or something.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I would, never have guessed that you had to basically change the whole book.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's wonderful. The main thing that was honestly the hardest was like right before the final version was due, I realized I needed to put it in first person. And so I had to painstakingly go through every line of the book with like 2 weeks notice to change all of the third person to eyes. But it's better for it, but it just, whew, don't recommend.
Wow.
What a fun grammar test.
I know.
My goodness.
It was awful.
Can I ask how you decided on the sort of specific animal friends that joined?
I love to
was
talk
it
about
just
the
kind of like
animals.
cats and things? Yeah.
Okay, so I was having lunch at an Irish pub with another book person, and I was explaining that I was writing a bookstore romance, and she was like, "It's gonna have a bookstore cat, right?" And I'm like a little bit of a contrarian, so I was like, "No, this book's gonna have every fucking animal other than a cat because I just want to be unique." And then my friend, when I was really little, had a potbelly pig that would just run around her house, and it was very strange. That was what inspired Baxter. And I think I was watching, there's this like sapphic movie that has the girl from Riverdale and Ethan Hawke and what's her name's daughter in it. It's on Netflix. I'm waiting for that person that knew the cellist name to come in with that. There's
Who is it?
a bearded dragon in it, and it's like a pet bearded dragon, and I just thought that was like so charming.
You're talking about, but I don't know the title
it's like
of it.
Yes, it's like a revenge. Do revenge? Is that it?
Yeah, Do Revenge. I think that's it. Yes, that sounds right. It's got it's got Sansa Stark in it. I don't know, but there's a bearded dragon. Is the salient point. And then I just really liked naming the animals, which sort of inspired some things. And I just really like the comedy, so anytime that I can make people very uncomfortable by surprising them with an animal in some way, it makes it real fun.
I mean, I kind of love the bit where every time you came into the bookstore, there was like another animal.
Yeah.
And so first is, one strange animal, but I think it worked because you had this like unusual rock star and her unusual love interest, and they were in Kansas at an unusual bookstore. I mean, I don't know. It worked for me.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm so glad. I mean, to me, it's memorable, and then it's menagerie, and Sam Sam's grandfather is a veterinarian, and so I had already had all of that worked out in my head because of the book that I had already written. So I was like, oh yeah, she's totally gonna have the animals from the veterinary hospital in the bookstore. Like, why wouldn't she?
Yeah, and as a bookseller who spends easily 30% of their life talking to children about Wings of Fire books, I was like, any bookstore surely would have a Wings of Fire shout out, so that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Well, my daughter is obsessed with Wings of Fire. We have all of the books. She's got merch. And the weirdest thing happened to me though, because I think somebody at Curious Iguana, which is a bookstore in Frederick, was posting a picture of themselves. And in that picture was like a bearded dragon or some sort of lizard with wings, like Billy Gibbons has in the book. And I was like, okay, did I like manifest this? Or it's probably just not that unique a concept, but still.
It certainly seemed.
It was-
We were talking about how when we started reading it, we were like, "Oh, magical realism!" Until they explained the 3D printed wings, and then we were like, "Oh, not a real tiny dragon." Not a real yeah, but that's
But I love the way you think. Or was there an animal that you would least like to have in your bookstore?
Sorry, we're
Yeah.
laughing at a comment.
yeah. Sorry.
Ooh, tell me.
Well, so Nikki, who you were like, "Give us the name of the movie," just reflected who's Ethan Hawke.
I don't know.
So
Just
she
Google
said-
him.
Oh.
You can
I
recognize his
picture him.
face.
Yeah, that's a toughie.
I'm old.
He's a
No, we also know who he is.
Okay, so Nikki in to help with the
Maya Hawk. Maya.
That's it.
Yeah, it's the
It's
dog,
definitely
right.
Maya Hawk. Yeah. So that's on me. I neglected to ask Nikki to contribute to our no words for this week. and for her double book club mashup. And so her no word list, I'm assuming, is what that's for. Because the screen just says the word bratwurst with no context. So I'm assuming that's her no word.
It tells me though that Wes has said it at least once for it to become.
Yeah. probably
And that's
so.
the one that Allison Janney says to Hugh, or to what's his name in 10 Things I Hate About You too. Bratwurst, aren't we the optimist?
Yes, that's right. And then
Beep Boop Bop.
Excellent. That's for sci-fi and also sapphic romance, I guess. Yeah, great.
Oh yeah,
Beep
it's
boop
like
bop.
it's like beep boop, like a like sci-fi dance.
I like that. I think it's just robot sounds, but I like that it could be a dance.
Oh yeah, it's the robot movie.
It's a robot sound with boobs.
Yeah, with boobs.
Oh, is that what that was?
Which
Beep boop.
Boob bop.
Oh, I thought it.
That's the twist. That's the
There you
fun.
go. Yeah.
So clearly the most popular now is sci-fi and sapphic romance. So we nailed the combo, I guess.
We got it. Yeah.
I like that.
that's good. I'm very on board.
Andy, are you able to share any information about upcoming projects you might be working on? You mentioned that you have
Yeah.
another book with Courtney.
So the next book is coming next September. I think it's going to be the 22nd. I should know that. So the protagonist in the next one of whom is going to be Nick, who's Courtney's cousin. And the other one is from my second book, Fall for Him, Felicity, Felicity's probably my favorite character that I've ever written. So I was really, really excited to share their story.
Cool. That's awesome. I'm excited.
And it's
Revisiting smaller
also going to be.
characters. Oh, I just said I love it when authors revisit smaller characters and kind of expand on the world. That's lovely.
Oh, I'm glad. It's. I mean, I really can't take too much credit because it's all kind of happening in my head. So people ask, "Oh, are they all in the same universe?" And I'm like, "Well, they're all in my head, and that's kind of the universe that I'm working with."
That seems fair. That's a
Yeah.
good. That's a good.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So as you go through your universe, have you been ingesting any good books lately?
I've been really into Emily Austen. Reading. Oh gosh, the Everybody Might Someday Be Dead book. Everyone in this room someday will be dead. And I was almost having to go to the hospital to see a relative last night. And I was like, oh, it's fine. I can bring my book. And then I realized that I was reading the everyone might someday be dead, and I was like, oh God, I probably shouldn't bring that one to the hospital.
Maybe not.
That's a smart move.
I read. So that one, I really adored B.K. Borison's Good Spirits. I read that lately. And Greta and Valden, I really liked a lot. It would be really nice if I could remember who wrote that one. I cannot.
That's okay.
Yeah, those are awesome choices. Well, you certainly don't have to, but do you have any questions for us?
I want to know which of the animals that you would least like to have in your bookstore.
Oh,
Oh man.
ferret, easy.
Yeah, I was like, probably.
Yeah, definitely the ferret.
Yeah, I think.
The handsy ferret.
Yeah, yes.
I wouldn't want one in the bookstore though. It would like burrow into the paper and like steal all the shiny bits and hide them under the cafe, and
They do
that would be a
have,
mess.
Like, a very specific smell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ferrets notoriously are not.
Stinky.
Yeah, they're
They're
pretty
stinky.
smelly.
Are
Yeah.
there any animals that I left out that I should have had in your bookstore?
Oh boy. Let's see. I feel like if we had a bookstore pet, it would probably be like a tortoise.
Oh, it's a good one.
Oh,
Yeah, and like a terrarium.
that'd be nice.
Yeah, we're not technically allowed to have animals because we have the cafe, but we do bring our dogs every day.
Well, and the nurse part of me is just like salmonella.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really.
Yeah, I'm kind of actually a bummer when it comes to a lot of animals because of the whole like working with pediatric patients, and I worked in an ER for a long time during COVID, and I've seen some weird stuff.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say a
Oh.
bunny or a chinchilla, because if you get like a really, really, tamed one, they are just like cool with being held and snuggled.
But the chinchillas need the dust baths, right?
Yeah, if
Yeah, but
the
you
children
just-
touch them, they would like mold. But what about a sugar glider? A sugar glider?
I've
is
heard they're
tiny.
mean. I've heard they're mean. Somebody I knew had a sugar glider, but it just might have been that they didn't like their sugar glider, but they said it was very mean.
Oh.
I also am terrified of the notion that something is flying around the store and pooping.
It's gliding. Gliding.
It's like gliding through the store and pooping, like presumably. Yeah, a lot of those things that are like, see, a tortoise is slow. It's
What about a tarantula?
Like, it's gonna be hard to. You could what?
A tarantula.
I don't want to scare the customers
Absolutely
away.
not. I'm sick that day. You will not be getting a tarantula.
No.
Absolutely not. No.
My kids are always asking me for pets, and I'm like, we don't want to have anything that like scurries or slithers.
I'm okay with snakes, but I cannot do.
Too many legs? Get out of here.
Yeah,
I'd be
I'd
cool with
rather
a tarantula
roll
until I
legs
didn't
than
know where it was, and then I would not be okay. And it'd be like on a table.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
Ask
I love
someone-
animals.
I get like hamster.
I did go to an indie bookstore once that had a parrot.
Also, no flying and pooping.
Oh,
They-
a
I
I
bird.
mean, it does have flying and pooping, but they would like take the.
Kayla just said, I don't think I'd want a bird with a diaper.
No, what the problem with birds is that they're dinosaurs living among us.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is terrifying.
I'm just saying if you needed a wacky introduction for a further entrance into this bookstore, they could always have like a parrot for the week or something. Just like a macaw,
Yeah.
like talking to the customers
Just
as
like-
they come in. It would be great.
Yeah, that would be a good also conversation piece. Or you could get one of those birds that just like yells obscenities. I've heard they're fun.
maybe
And
it
just
has
like-
a foul mouth.
Yeah, like a
Yeah,
cockatiel.
be kind of
Yeah.
fun.
Foul with a diaper.
Especially
You could
in a
teach
Christmas
the
book.
parrot all the. What if the parrot only knew all the words that you don't want in the sex scenes?
Oh, that would be awesome. It sits in on all the
Devious.
romance novel, all the romance book clubs, and just repeats all of the sexy
Repeats the words that we hate.
raccoon.
Oh yeah, we could get a domesticated raccoon. Surely we would
No.
not. but
Trash
trash panda.
pandas.
Yeah.
Trash panda.
And you know they're huge. I had one that walked by my window recently because I live weirdly like in the suburbs, but I have coyotes and I've got like a lot of weird animals. And this raccoon was enormous. It was
Yeah,
so
they're
big.
huge.
Yeah.
Especially when they have like ample access to trash cans.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they were so
My
big.
spouse calls
I
them
just
trash pandas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah. My mom
and they have
grew up
rabies.
in New Jersey somehow.
Yes.
I do love the idea of a talking parrot that
Only says
only
upsetting
says upsetting words from Romance Club.
I think that's
I think it would just be the right ambiance.
Yeah.
yeah. Just like squawking growlers.
Juices.
Yeah. That's really gross. I love it. That's great. And
I want to juices.
wowie.
Throbbing? Throbbing?
Cool. We wow, we fully derailed everything.
But I think you could just name it Alice and Janney.
That's genius. Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. I love that. Oh my gosh. Well, on that note, do you have any other questions for us? Or does anybody else have any other questions for Andy?
Does anyone have any other questions for those?
I think we've fully broken our brains.
We
I will
broke
say
ourselves.
since they, as part of Sugar and Spice, we like having snacks that are like on theme. Usually something kind of sweet or
Ooh.
something spicy. So we did the full round of like sandwiches, potatoes, cupcakes, and we did have Colin Firth up on the screen before you joined just to like hit all the bits. But since they had so many sandwich dates, Kira made like a whole sandwich smorgasbord because we didn't know what kind of sandwiches. So, do you have a favorite kind of sandwich, or did you picture them eating a particular? Thank you, Sam. That's important.
Oh, Colin
Okay,
Firth.
one, I really appreciate Colin Firth being on the screen because I just watched this Pride and Prejudice with my daughter again recently, like this past week, and so I really like the ambiance of this. And my daughter, by the way, is 11, and she always has really great commentary on. It's hilarious. As far as sandwiches goes, I'm the most boring person in the world because I don't really like condiments.
That's
So
all right.
For me.
I mainly like the veggies and the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't sure what kind of sandwiches we'd like either, so there's just ingredients on a table and you can assemble your own sandwich.
Yeah.
See, that's the best kind of situation for sandwiches, I think.
Yeah.
What was the most popular option tonight?
I think we all inhaled our sandwiches far too fast for anybody to see, but we do have an array of cupcakes with different flavors. We have strawberry, raspberry, and lemon. And
Nice.
then gluten-free for me.
Oh, you're gluten-free? My mom has celiac, so like my first book, Fly With Me, features a gluten-free pound cake that my mom makes, and it's like the best
Oh my
pound cake
gosh,
ever.
I'm gonna check that out. Thank you for the recommendation.
Amazing.
Thank you all so much for. I'm just like sad I'm not there. I missed out on sandwiches and cupcakes. My son has a taekwondo belting ceremony. Not belt. That belting sounds like new belt. This is my first rodeo. Tonight. That's why I couldn't come. But I really want to come sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are truly always invited. We'd love to have you. We can easily get sandwich ingredients and cupcakes a second time. So
Yes.
whenever you want to come by,
Well,
we'd
you know,
love
maybe
to have you.
maybe when your next book comes out,
Yeah.
definitely. But anytime in between.
Yes.
Yes, you are surely always
I would
invited.
love to.
Yeah, thank you so much for making the time and meeting with us. No matter how much we love a book, when we come to the table, getting to hear from the author and all the parts of yourself that you put into it help us love it that much more. So thank you so much, Andy. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. It was just so lovely to chat with y'all and to get to see you. I can't wait to stop in the store.